You are now listening to Conscientization 101, an online magazine combining reflection, music, and action through independent media. I
think that the only way that we're going to realize freedom, justice, equality, decent living for people is if there's a complete change. Everything has got to be turned around, and that's a revolution. It's a revolution.
This is Zari Sundiata, and I'm going to be your host for this episode of the C101 podcast. On this episode, we are going to feature excerpts from our interview with Donnie Mossberg. Donnie is a musician, technician, videographer, and a member and organizer of the All African People's Revolutionary Party. Now, if you have seen any YouTube videos with talks from people like John Henry Clark, Kwame Ture, Amos Wilson, so many other people that have been very important to us as Africans, then you probably watched the video that Donnie edited and then posted. We noticed his name every time we watched one of the videos, so, we were like, man, who is this brother? Like, he has these videos everywhere. And one day he posted a video and he said, hey, everybody, he was giving us a status update on his video, on his channel, and he was like, you know what, if any of y'all, have some questions for me about how to do media production or anything like that, just hit me up. So, of course, we did, and there we go. It was, we hit it off, So, we talked to Donnie, and then we had the interview, and in the interview, it's gonna be two parts. It's a two-part series where we cover so much. We cover colonialism, the struggles on the streets, the state of the African world. We cover a whole bunch. This is a really, really good episode. So, this is a really good episode. So, what's gonna happen is that, since it's over an hour long, and I know we missed our rule, our rule of an hour, but it's gonna be over an hour long, both episodes, because the interview was 4 hours long. It was that long, and then we had to do our production. We had to add the music and all that good stuff. So, you'll probably be thinking, man, these fools, they just talking to their friend. But I promise you, we really did just meet Donnie. He's just a good person, and he really, really wants to put in the work for our people. And he's like one of the best examples of conscientization out there. So we said, you know what, time to have him on the show. So with the interview being 4 hours long, you are not hearing the best parts of the interview at all. Okay, we had to edit some of the interview to get, for clarity and all that good stuff. So this is the Cliff Notes. And we know that people like to, do the Cliff Notes in school. People used to do that. But no, don't do that, okay? Don't do that. You need to listen to the whole interview. What you need to do is visit the site, okay, and subscribe so you can listen to the whole interview. You can listen to this interview. You can listen to all of our interviews, because you may think, oh, I heard those excerpts. I know what they're saying. No, you don't. You missed a whole bunch of stuff that probably would be very important for you. So, let's go all the way. Let's go all the way. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to get into this interview with Donnie Mossberg.
All right, we are here with Donnie Mossberg. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah!
Oh, man.
How you doing today, Donnie?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good. I'm hot, but I'm feeling good. Glad
good
to be here, man. This is amazing.
Thank you very much. Donnie, we gonna just jump right into it with the people. Let me give you a little anecdote.
Okay.
I remember, I was searching through some stuff for John Henry Clark.
Uh-huh.
And then next thing you know, I seen this thing. I saw John Henry Clark. I said, ooh, I'm gonna watch this one. Donnie Mossberg.
Uh-huh.
Then I said, man, hold up. Let me watch some of Amos Wilson. Then I seen another name, the same name. Donnie Mossberg. So then stuff started going click, clackety, clack, clack, bang, 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 bang in my head. That's like a Mossberg pump. So then I said, dang, man, this dude, Donnie Mossberg, is prolific.
Oh, yeah?
And then I said, hold up, let me just chill. Then I said, let me type in Kwame Ture.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kwame Ture pop up. I'm like, man, I knew Donnie Mossberg was like 70 years old.
70?
I thought he was an old dude, man. Because anybody who could compile that history like that, I was like, man, he must have been there.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, man, this dude, Donnie Mossberg, man, he must be sitting in a bunker just putting this shit up, trying to educate the people. Conscientize, bang, 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 bang,
You just
bang.
locked yourself up.
Yeah, I was just amazed because, like, I mean, it was just a plethora of history. We got to thank Donnie Mossberg because we put a lot of that on C101 TV. And so, Donnie, this is the first question we got for you because this is what I'm saying. By the time we prepared for this interview, as of earlier this week, it was in June of 2015 that we're doing this interview. You had over 230 videos with analysis from people like I just mentioned, Kwame Ture, Amos Wilson, Gil Noble, Khalid Muhammad, and much, much more. I want you to tell the listening audience what prompted you to start uploading these videos and how do you procure all these videos? I mean, how did Donnie Mossberg decide to cock the Mossberg pump, bang, bang, bang the information and shoot it into the people's minds so it could explode into your consciousness and flow throughout your body? How did you do this, Donnie? What give us the start and give us the story, give us the meta narrative.
Okay. Well, it was the Eyes on the Prize series that started that because I was actually looking for it because that's something I remember from my childhood. So I was looking for it just to see it because I hadn't seen it in so long. I couldn't find it anywhere. So and I found it on YouTube, but it was like real poor quality, like almost unwatchable. So so I went and talked to my mom, and she had some video because she used to record all that stuff all the time because she's a teacher and she would take videos to school and stuff like that. So she would always be taping PBS all the time. So she had some of it on tapes. And so from there, I just, okay, well, we're going to put up a good quality version. And that was the first thing I had uploaded on the channel. And people started commenting about like they'd never seen it before. It's the first time they've seen it. I was like, wow. I was shocked that was because, as a kid, I saw it all the time. It used to come on all the time, the reruns and everything. So I was just, I just thought everybody saw it. So when I seen people saying that they never saw it, I was like, oh, wow. So now I start thinking about, well, there must be a lot of stuff people haven't seen that we've seen. And so I'm just like, let's just put it up,
Exactly. It's funny you say that because it's just like, we never know kind of like, like you just said, like, I remember Eyes on the Prize vaguely, you know what I'm saying? Because they would play it, bits and pieces of it. And my mother was in education as well, but you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure education our education is education in this colonial setup, but education up north, a little bit different down in this Confederate here state. So, I had to catch Eyes on the Prize when I could. I think I caught that mug on PBS or something like that. Yeah. And I think the thing I remember when Kwame Ture, I think this was Eyes on the Prize when he said something like, you tell all the Mississippi police that all the scared Negroes don't went home or something like that. Kwame Ture was flowing, boy. I was like, I was like, I like this dude. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just you never know what people might not hear, and it's kind of like you said, like but might not know, and it's kind of like that's kind of like the impetus behind like conscientization 101, because it's not about what like Ayiko Umar was saying, like he says in Kemet in the House of Life, his novel, that there's sharers and there's keepers, and people want to hoard that information because they want to hold it over people, and that's one of the biggest problems I have with like academia in general, because how you get a degree in getting black, you know what I'm saying? These Negroes discover they black because the white folk give them an institution, say, hey, Negro, you're black now, here's my degree to prove by me.
And then they get paid from the same institution, so it's a conflict of interest, because what's the incentive for them to really work for us, to change the system? They just want to keep their job, so yeah.
And also, I just got to throw this in here because Donnie represent the real Mandem. You know what I'm saying? The Mandem. See, I thank you, my brother Cyclones, all you brothers out in the UK. Give me that patois from over there. The Mandem, the goddamn, the famdem, my dogs down here. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Because you basically were like what I really like. What you do is like you bring this information from. I would call it the Ivory Tower penthouse, and you bring it to the people, and it's like, look, man, we need to get this, because it's not just about being clever at the next cocktail party. It's about taking this information and learning to build with it, because I remember one of the things that Bobby Wright said. He said, Dr. Bobby Wright, he said, now, the white folks got the institutions, we got the people. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we got the people, we need to get this information. Then from get that information that you putting out there, brother, then we going to get some institutions that's going to be dual and contending power and crush them hegemonic institutions. But I done spoke too much. Zara, you want to say something right quick? Or Donnie, I'm sorry.
No, but I agree, and I think that what you said earlier about like some people want to just hold on to the information, I think that's true, because a lot of people actually, a lot of people seem to be very, I don't know if it's just ego or something, because that happened to me even on YouTube, because another reason that I made the YouTube channel is because a lot of the videos were like broken up into 15, 20 parts or whatever. And so it made it real just difficult to watch. Some parts would be missing and you're searching for it. And so I would just take the time and download all the pieces, join them together and upload them. And I remember somebody commented to me about, oh, you took the video off my page. I never responded to him, but I'm just like, first of all, you didn't even film it. You didn't film it, you didn't record it. It's not yours. And number two, it's not your information. You don't. The information belongs to the people, so it's not your information to keep. So I don't even understand where that comes from. So I'm just like, as soon as I thought about like it is, I'm like, yo, this is too. I'm watching it, and I'm like, yo, this has to go up. This has to. I know that a lot of times there's copyright issues. That's the issue of dealing with the eyes and the process. I had to remove it. Got a copyright strike, and that's a problem. That's that's a real problem I have with this whole thing, because it's corporate control of our information, of our stories. These media companies, they own the copyright to how are you going to own the copyright to our stories? It's our stories, and they make me take it down, and I just believe that when we get this information, you got to liberate it. Like even if there's been videos I've had to go and pay to get, I have no problem putting them up. I don't want nobody to pay me back for it. The information has to get liberated. You know what I mean? Everybody should have access to it, because if we don't make it as easy as possible for people to get it, I don't think people are gonna go get it. So if it's right there in your face, you can't ignore it.
Well, yeah, and also the thing about that is this, like he just said, people won't get it because it's a lot of negative choices out here.
It sure is.
It's a lot of nasty, sick, nasty, just nasty, perverse shit out in this motherfucker. I'm just saying, and the thing about it is, like Donnie said, look, we all about look, if you produce it, you know what I'm saying? I think if you produce it, you should be able to see the fruits of your labor. Now,
of course.
when you talk about the African liberation struggle that first came into a culmination into the civil rights, Black Power movement, God damn it, that's our struggle. So for anybody to say they got a copyright on it is similar to calling me an African American, saying American got a copyright on my African ass. I don't think so. And second of all, I say, Donnie, we need to turn you into like an LLC so you can at least get a tax write-off. Because if you going into your pocket,
and paying for stuff.
And we got to make it as easy as possible. And we got to consolidate this stuff because we need these institutions. But we need brothers like you and ourselves and sister like you over there, by the way, that will say, look, we know this thing ain't popping in the streets. We know this ain't the R. Kelly sex tape, whatever these little kids into and with the nastiness.
Not that.
It's not that. It ain't no skinny jeans, okay? This is not the skinny jeans. We know y'all don't want to, but this is what you need. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And guess what? It got some flair in it, got some swagger in it too, because it's our people. So the thing about it is, no, they probably wouldn't get it if it weren't free. We got to make it as widely available as possible. They make all the smut available as widely as possible. And so we got to make this widely available as possible. And that's the challenge, to make it as widely available as possible, but also make it so we can sustain ourselves in doing what we're doing. And when I see the 230 videos, and like you said, I'll set up and watch a video when you were saying you got the YouTube strike, and you was like, I have to go through here. I got to render this stuff. And I was like, man, he goes, I have to go and get this equipment. I was like, that's a man after my own heart. Because he doing this on his own. It ain't no, Donnie, you ain't getting a grant from Columbia now, are you, Donnie? Donnie, are you getting a grant from Harvard? No. Okay. Are you getting your eyes on the prize?
I don't think if you got a grant from Columbia, they would let you put up Khalid Muhammad. You know, they ain't gonna let you do that.
Donnie, are you promoting hate, Donnie? Donnie,
hate speech
and rhetoric. Don't you love us, Donnie?
Because everybody should love us.
Everybody should love us.
You know, and I did want to add that right now I'm reading this book by this brother from Brazil. His name is João Costa Vargas. It's called Never Meant to Survive. And he actually lives in Austin now. He's been there for about 10 years. But like at the end of the book, which is what I'm on now, he's talking about how we have to find a balance between using the master's tools, you know, in order to get out of and like he says, create a whole new world, basically, create a whole new paradigm and a way of being. And so YouTube is also controlled by corporate media, right? But we still have to use it, you know, to get the word out. So it's this hegemony that's there that you have to have integrity. You know what I mean? And if you're going to be putting this stuff out, and like you said, some people do have egos and they just kind of want to be seen. And so YouTube is like the height of the vanity of America,
like neoliberalism on steroids.
It is. And so if they're putting information out that our people need and they want to hoard it, well, it's just in line with the whole idea, you know what I mean, of, well, I did this, so I should get the glory, you know? Yeah. So unfortunately, we have to use their tools, but people's minds are still in the selfish, individualistic way of being.
It's terrible.
Yes, it is.
It's terrible. And you're absolutely right. Like, you have to use, hey, Facebook is a tool. That's how I look at it. It's a tool. It's not the you know, that's not the solution. It's just a tool that we can use. And a lot of people get caught up in thinking that is not a tool. Like, oh man, I have a screenshot of it. When Jordan Davis was murdered, people get on Facebook and start talking, oh, we need to do this and we need to do that. And I seen one brother, he said, we don't even need to organize in the street anymore. We got Facebook. I was like, what?
Shit.
I'm like, this is what people think?
Yeah.
I'm like, I hope this is not what people think. Like,
a lot of people think that.
Like, Facebook, we use Facebook maybe to organize something that we're going to organize in person. Like, maybe we might use Facebook to get everybody, to get the event out, and then we'll go meet up somewhere. But we still gonna work in the street. That's where you have to go, because number one, not everybody's on Facebook, and you're not gonna reach everybody on Facebook. And on Facebook, people can ignore you. They can just go past your post. But if you're in their face, you knock it on the door. It's hard to ignore you.
Exactly.
It's funny you said that, because the whole thing about picking up what Zari said, you got the whole neoliberal ethic is this is my information. I'm the smart nigga, right? Then you also got the whole thing what you just said. This whole, I call it these little technocrat youngsters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They really like real technologically savvy, so to speak. And so the last time I checked, we inside a studio. I ain't inside Facebook, okay? I don't know how you organize inside of a Facebook. Facebook, like you said, might be good for mobilization, but as Brother Kwame Ture said, mobilization, you must not mistake mobilization for organization.
Yeah, exactly.
This must be properly understood, properly. And so if that's not properly understood, like you just said, and then also like you just, I have to say about the Facebook, use it as a mobilizing tool, but remember, it's people on Facebook that be watching. I always feel like somebody's watching me. You ain't got no privacy.
You sure don't. That's true. That's why these kids are always kind of like mechanical. I don't know if you noticed this, but they don't have the ability to like talk to people. They're like, yes, hello. They don't even have any.
It's the Twitter thing.
They have no sociability.
I think it's even affecting the adults on there now, because I meet some adults and we try, very active on Facebook, posting all the time, and then we meet and we're talking and nothing. Get nothing.
It's like
I'm like, wow. So maybe I should just post to your face. We're just sitting across from each other and talk on Facebook. Maybe then you'll talk. But that's what I've been noticing a lot. A lot of people just are losing. I don't know the ability, the ability to communicate one-on-one, just talk, have a conversation about anything. I don't know why. Like, people would get so caught up in Facebook or social media or even the cell phone. Like, listen, man, I was just getting harassed the other day by my friend because I didn't respond to the text quickly enough. I'm like, yo, when I'm doing stuff on my phone, I don't even pay attention to that thing.
Exactly.
So you gotta, but everybody, you're walking around Manhattan. I bumped into somebody yesterday because she's like this, texting, and another guy, he walks into me, he's texting, and nobody's paying attention. And
yep.
It's all, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's all like this Orwellian newspeak. Shit, like, LOL. They coming up with a new thing every day. I can't even keep up, and I'm a young man, you know what I'm saying? But shit, I don't know what they're talking about. And then it's also, you got to look at it like this, man. We live in a capitalistic society.
Yeah.
And we live in a society, particularly we in America, this is the settler colonial empire. People that's here ain't supposed to be here. All right. And the thing about when I put that all into consideration, then you analyze that with the capitalist society, you got to understand something. It's natural for people to want to commune. To want a community. I didn't say communism, but I said commune. That's where communism come from.
Yes.
Now, I want to know this for a fact. I know this for a fact. There's no way you can have a true community in capitalism because it's all about individualism. But what they'll make you think you can get that shit by you can commune with your brothers and sisters on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah.
It's what it is. I look at it as like everybody on this thing, because what they trying to do, they trying to have this communion with people through the imposed infrastructures of society. You know what I'm saying? Because we're so divorced and we're so individualized, but we're so isolated, but it filters itself through the political economy of settler colonial capitalism, which always resorts to the type of community you have is, look at me, I'm the shit, you ain't shit, look at me. And then that filters off through the quote unquote liberation struggles. I'm the baddest nigga in the world, look at me, I can save the black nation, look at my muscles, oh, look at me, I went here, I met Hatshepsut. She's my wife.
She's my wife.
I go to events and it's pretty much just all about not even organization. You go to events and they got tables set up to just sell stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't sell stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if we are putting on an event, say for Khalid Muhammad, which I went to one, and we have tables set up, but no tables signing up people to work, to organize.
To get people's information.
Yeah, that's the most important. Like, if you're going to have you should sell vendors. Hey, that's beautiful, but there's no organization going on there. So it seems like it's just people just having events to draw people in to sell whatever products they're selling and charge at the door and $30, $40 at the door. And you hear I seen some of them talk on YouTube about the amount of money they get and talking about how, I get 200 people to show up. I could pack the place. I'm like, come on, what does that even have to do with the struggle? You packing the place, but ain't no work getting done. So what's the point?
And the thing about it is, if you collecting money like that, and you collecting the money off the name of the liberation struggle, then it needs to be a tax on that money. We need to see where that money going to. Is it some brothers and sisters homeless on the street? Put them up in some kind of housing. I'm all about organizing. I'm about getting money. It's what we do with the money collectively.
Right, no, exactly.
That's the thing.
And that's the thing. Like you said, you go in as an individual vendor trying to feast off the larger body politic of the African liberation struggle. You make your little money off of it, and that's your money. No, that need to go to all of us. We need to when you circulate the dollars, you got to make sure they stay inside. We ain't circulating them just so you can go pay the light man and the bill man. Now I know that you need to do that, but that's why we got to have more organization instead of just we have this and then and everybody come here. We can't be no left arm.
Yeah, it's a bunch
of
events.
We can't be no goddamn left arm.
It's like a quote conscious. Like these people just want to be. They don't want to smash like capitalism. They just want to be black capitalists, I guess. I don't know, but because that's not that. Because what I'm seeing is just straight capitalism. It's just making profit off of the struggle. Like when we have some events, people show up and like we had the event for Move in Philadelphia, and people are showing up to can I set up a vendor table?
Damn.
And I'm like, wow. But we here just to deal with this terrible event that happened.
Yeah.
And the first thing you worried about is, can you set up a vendor table?
And trying to build a career from it. That's what people are doing.
Yeah, I heard some of the excerpts from that stuff and Move. I was honestly some of the anyway. Like you said, this is people trying to
they're trying to make a name.
They trying to be keepers.
Yeah.
And they need to follow my Lord and Savior, Ayikwe Amar.
Yeah, they don't really have a genuine concern.
No. Why don't you move on to the second question? Because we're going to keep Donnie on here. Donnie going to end up being as bald as me. He going to lose all his hair. Shit. I'm turning the father time over here.
Oh, man.
Well, the videos you put up, it's obvious, like we were talking about, that you put them up strategically because you want to get a certain message out to our people, a specific agenda that we need to have, okay? And you won't see how they like to have a shirt with Obama and Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. You won't see that on your channel. What I mean? It's consistent. It's a clear pattern of Pan-Africanism and posing solutions to the problems that Africans have, pretty much. What type of political education have you engaged in, and how has that fed into the direction and content of your channel?
Well, I have to say, my political education really took off with Malcolm X, like rediscovering Malcolm X after 9/11, because it was 9/11 that kind of put me on this whole path. Because honestly, I was just telling somebody yesterday, honestly, I actually kind of believed in America. Don't hang up on me now, But there was a time, like, I actually wanted to be. I'm such a nerd, a military nerd. That I study all the military technology and stuff. So I actually wanted to be in the Air Force. So I was going to leave after high school. I was going to go into the Air Force, and fortunately, I got into music And so I said, okay, I'm not going there. And then, but so after 9/11, when I saw that happen, I'm thinking like, wow, if I was there, if I was in the Air Force, I'd be right in the middle of this whole thing. They'd be sending me somewhere to go do something. And that, but 9/11 is what started me on that path, because I kept thinking like, when, you're watching people jump from the building and stuff like that, and people get emotional about that. But my thing, I was really thinking about like, what would make these people fly a plane into a building? Like, what that means you have to have done something to these people, because who would want to leave, their family and all that stuff to go kamikaze into a building and never to be here again? So that put me on the path like, all right, I'm gonna just start investigating what's going on. You see that what America was doing in Afghanistan all through the 80s and stuff. And so just going through all of that history and just figuring out like, wow, this place is real. Like, these people really did some stuff, man. And and from that point, I'm just like gone. I'm like, that's it. I'm all in. I'm just trying to learn everything about history and our history at that, because at that point I didn't really know much about our history either. And so I started listening to Malcolm X again, and it just lit a fire that made me say, you know what? I just started picking anything I could read to get books and just start reading more. Because before I used to read, like I always read, but I used to just read like technical books, like computer programming and stuff like that. I never used to read history or about our history, because even in my youth, I never used to think that Africa meant anything to me. Like I used to say that I was American. I used to say that to people. Africa, that I don't know about what's going on there. And I feel ashamed saying that now, but but I think it shows how miseducated we are, because for someone to just be ashamed of Africa. I was ashamed of Africa. Like, I didn't want to have anything to do. And that's the crazy thing, because even with the Eyes on the Prize series, watching that as a youth, these programs never talked about Africa. That's the thing. They never talked about Africa. So you're still just thinking about America. That's it. And just trying to find a place in America. So we never thought about Africa at all.
Exactly. I actually really like the fact that you said that. You was honest and said that, because most people act like they came out the womb with a black fist in the air. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? We live in America. There's a point to education. That's why we came up with conscientization. And that's why I these white folks, I'm talking to you white folks, and all you white folks be coming out here and y'all be saying, well, see, look, that nigger said it. He said it too. Well, hell, we got the same training as you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I get tired of that disingenuous. Our baby girls get promoted the same blonde hair, blue eyed white woman that the white girl get. The only thing is, our women ain't blonde hair, blue eyed, right? So we getting the same type of propaganda, but some kind of way, naturally, inclinations, right? We supposed to like know everything about Africa. You got to teach us about Africa. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They are teaching lions to meow. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then they act disingenuous when they get a Negro like Obama. They say, well, Obama said da 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 blah 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 blah. That's the litmus test of the colonial evolve, what they would call in the Belgian colonies, of the type of Negro you're supposed to be. So, but by the time you like 12 years old or whatever, everybody's supposed to know that always America's right. Yep. That's just objective. Yeah. That's just objective. And if you say anything about Africa, that's just emotionalism. And I like what you said about Eyes on the Prize, because I remember that, and I see the same problem with this whole Selma shit. Because the problem I'm having is it's showing the American flag, us going into America. Now, if we really knew what we lost in Africa, hell, we wouldn't want none of this shit. Yeah, we run this thing like this, but that's the point of what we're doing. And what I hear in your voice is the same thing. It kind of happened to me the same way. And see, I remember I got about 4 years on you. You know what I'm saying? So you was like you said, 9/11 happened. It was straight out of high school.
Yeah.
I was teaching Elementary kids, yes, that's right. They let my African ass around some African youth, and they loved me. I was a youngster too. I was sitting up, but I was like listening to all kind of stuff and stuff like that. I remember 9/11 happened because his principal said, "Oh man, do you have any family in New York?" I said, "Do I have family in New York? I'm from the damn Texas. No, I ain't got no damn family in New York." She talking about my family in Africa, and that's it. I don't know. Shoot, we didn't go through the Great Migration. You know what I'm saying? Or they ran us off, right? Like Chancellor Williams said, right? Yeah. And then I said, first thing I walked over to my homeboy, who was also a teacher. He was they call it special ed. Then they gave it a euphemism, research learning. And I said, "Say, bruh, shit, them crackers done fucked up." That was the first thing out of my mind. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I said, them crackers done fucked up. Because I'm gonna tell you, for real though. I think the people I remember Kwame Ture said the best organizers of our people, and I saw it on a video that Donnie Mossberg put up on his channel, is gonna be the enemy. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Uh-huh. And so I remember growing up, I went to Robert E. Lee Elementary School. That is the Confederate. That is the Confederate general who was fighting to keep us in them chattel slavery from this, as opposed to this neo-slavery we in, right? And I remember I got in trouble because I said, man, I just can't rectify. I can't play the song. I ain't gonna sing this damn song. And he wanted slavery. And the teachers and all the students tried to tell me like, well, he wasn't for slavery. He didn't agree with it. I said, yeah, but if he would have won, I would have been in chains. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a little kid and they was putting the pressure on me. Luckily, my mom and them worked for the school district, leave my boy alone. And so I had to get into it with a couple of, the whole time. So they the ones who let me know I was African. Even, so... Well, thank you for that, white folks, because they can help you get to Africa quicker than I could get my brothers and sisters to Africa. And the thing was, like you said, it's funny you said Malcolm. It seems like, the brothers, we this, that Malcolm. You always go back and investigate Malcolm. And it was because I was listening to Malcolm that I was 12 years old talking about, I'm a Muslim, the white devil is this and stuff like that. I was back out, man. I was in Austin, so, it was some tough times, but the thing I really like about it was I hear the honesty in your voice because then I did more studying on our people, right? Because I was always with Islam was the true religion of the black man, right? Yeah. Then I found out that the damn Arabs had enslaved us. I said, I got to drop this shit too. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then I started to study. I heard about Dr. Clark. I started hearing about all this stuff, but it was in bits and pieces. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of drop it. Because it wasn't no internet back then, and so all I knew was Malcolm, and I was just it gets real confusing. That's why the information that you put out is so good because if we ain't dealing with stuff in terms if you say the right chant or wear the right dashiki, then you'll get back to Africa. You know what I'm saying? But what's clear on your channel and what you see on the channel is that we're gonna have to fight and we're gonna have to organize, and the whole purpose is not just to fight, but it's so we can develop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We got to develop. I think that's what people's missing in I'm just worried about the Pan-African, revolutionary Pan-African movement. People got to work out their own cultural thing on their own. We got 1 billion of us dispersed around the world. I can't solve your problems and mine. I have a finite amount of resources and time. We cannot solve you. We got to save and try to put my efforts for African people, not the universe. Okay? There's going to be correlations, because we all in the human family, but I have finite resources. But I think that's good. You said that. It ain't nothing to be ashamed of that. No. That just shows you how this colonial system works. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And they real slick with that shit too, man. I'm telling you, that's all.
Yeah, because
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Okay, I remember not being ashamed of Africa. I just remember not thinking about it that much. It was like you said, they keep you in America so much, so you just get involved in negritude, so everything you do is, listening to what they call Black American music. You think you're Black American, blah, blah, blah. You do what Black folk do. This is how Black people do it, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And, so, and nobody even really mentioned Africa around me. I knew that that's where we were from, and it wasn't like I was ashamed of it, but like I was telling James the other day, you see Sally Struthers, and my concern was like, why are people living that way? I never understood that because I was like, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And I saw myself in them because otherwise it wouldn't have affected me so much. But I just remember not seeing a connection. Maybe that's why I never thought about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we all have that problem where I forgot who was talking about this, but they were saying that, some of us feel our Africanness, but we don't. That was Amos Wilson, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, that we feel our Africanness, we just don't know how to pull it out. You know what I mean? We don't know where it is, what it is, how to identify it. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's where it comes from when it does come out. It's because it's in us. It's just been bottled up by colonialism.
But yeah, I what you just said, like your experience is kind of the same as mine because like my mom and her aunt, when I was little, my aunt used to live with us, and she had a school in Ghana, and she was sending some of our books to Ghana, and I was kind of upset. I'm like, why are you sending my book? Like, because I had a whole bunch of like computer books and stuff like that. Why are you giving those are mine? And but they would talk about it, but I guess that's a criticism to my mom, is that she never really explained the necessity of giving these books to the people in Africa, like to the school in Ghana. I never saw it as important. And so that's something that, I mean, hey, I got to criticize my mom for that, because that might have changed a whole lot in my lifetime if maybe we talked about it in depth and really explained why this was necessary. And there was educator, he passed away recently, G2 Woozy. He always used to talk about the concept of two schools. You got to have the school that you go to and the school at home. That's where you learn about yourself. And so I guess I didn't really have that second school at home.
Yeah, none of us did. That's what we needed.
That's the problem. I think that's a big problem, because at least if we can't get control of the schools where we are, at least we can count to that by, educating at home,
Yes. I think the thing about it is, well, we do need to move to, like, this is the 21st century. And like we was talking to brothers in England, and now we talking to you in New York, and we just having a conversation, just like, like it's just nothing. And you, like you said, like I said, I got 4 years on you. So you remember the time back when you used to ask for the girls' phone numbers, and you had to keep them numbers off in your head. You didn't have no cell phone.
On the piece of paper.
You had to get a piece of paper. Oh, dog, give me a piece of paper, dog. This girl. And we only had 7 digits in Austin. We didn't have to learn. Houston, y'all had to do the area code and everything.
Not always.
Not always. Okay, all we had to do was just the 7 digits. We was good to go. Okay, but I guess the point I'm making is this: we got this here technology, and see, like Bobby Wright said, I watched Bobby Wright about 2 weeks ago, and I finished reading Bobby Wright. Shout out to Wise Intelligence for putting me up on Bobby Wright. Listen to Wise Intelligence. They say hip hop don't teach. Shit. Right? But anyway, I was listening. I finished Bobby Wright. It's only a 40-page book. I think it's called The Psychopathic Racial Personality. That was the book. And the thing about it is like, we do need to supplement that at home, but you got to understand, white institutions, these colonial institutions, they have the power to reinforce the ideology. So when we learn what we do, when we learn to say, that's right, Abraham Lincoln freed the slave, that's right, I ain't leave nothing in Africa, ain't nothing good in Africa, I'm glad I became an American, I don't want to be an African booty scratcher, I don't want to do none of that, I'm American, that's right, ooh, I'm a thrall, right? But that when we say stuff like that, they get reinforced for that. In a sense, a sellout is a logical extension. Like it makes sense on a certain sense of the level, because sometimes they get paid.
Yeah.
We don't. You look at the liberation struggle, man. You be like Bobby Brown. You're wrong. You're wrong. You know what I'm talking about? Ghostbusters. How you and you and me. Nah, I'm just, what I'm saying. But basically, my point is, so we got to supplement that application, and I'm saying we got the Skype, we got everything, but also we need to take it to another level. and reward our people. We need to organize. And that's what I see, especially in these videos with Kwame Ture. We are not organized. We can, like he said, we can run and go fight the damn National Guard, but when it comes to organizing some shit, oh man. And now unless it's a party, now shit, we can go to the party.
Yeah,
man.
we can
organize some events.
You can rally the whole community around that.
You know what I'm saying? But hey, brother, let's organize, read conscientism. But we have to learn, we have to be conscientize this stuff, man. We have to organize it and say, okay, if our children found out about the Berlin Conference, 1884-85, and understand those borders are illegal, and the countries in Africa are nothing but neo-colonies, still subservient to the same colonial masters, but all kicking into the big dog, the U.S., and then we say, yeah, you got that little boy, boys and girls, you got that right, and you gonna get you a scholarship to this school, so you can be an engineer, and then who you gonna engineer for? Shell? Hell no. We gonna pay you to engineer for your people to build bridges back home or in the communities wherever we are in the diaspora.
Yeah.
And the problem is, I got this is what I'm saying. We need to find the strengths in the diaspora and stop focusing on the weaknesses.
Yeah.
And ultimately what we need to do is destroy the diaspora. So we just over here because we want to be over here.
Right.
Not as opposed to we being dispersed. And that's what I'm saying. And I see the videos playing a role and this technology doing their role. But we got to check them foes that just say, oh man, all we got to do is just do it on Facebook. Jordan Davis didn't get shot by the Facebook bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
All right?
That's what I'm saying. and like you said, we have to really like start sending people to get educated, to come back to Africa to help build it up if they can't get it in Africa. Like that's what the Japanese did. I know they sent that's how they was able to shock the world in World War II. They were sending their people here and to Europe to learn about all their military technology, and they went there and built it up and, you know, wreak havoc. And I think we kind of need to do the same kind of thing. Like instead of sending our children to school just to be a doctor, we need doctors to help our people. Like we got communities even here in America where there's no medical centers, no kind of healthcare going on, and people are just dealing with illnesses, and we have so many doctors that are coming out now, black doctors from Africa, doctors, you know, that came here from Africa to learn how to be doctors and don't even realize that you need to bring this back to your people. Like we need this, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's conventional though. You hear that in the African community or in the African, you know, spaces that, oh, you know, you even hear it on sometimes movies. I want to like go to school and bring it back to my community and all this. You know, so that idea is out there. It's just when people put it into practical use, they get sucked in to making sure that they all right and they take care of their family. So then how do you do that? You go to the white institution. So all your ideals that when you were in school and you were a student, you become mature and you say, I'm going to worry about me and my family, and that's it, you know, and you just go off. So we know that. People know that because they say it, but then they don't do it because they out for self.
Yeah, that money is a drug.
Yeah.
You know, like if you become a doctor and then you start making good money, you're like, you know what?
Yep.
I'm gonna just keep on doing this, you know, give me a nice house. And
because my family lives in a bubble and my family is not a part of the world. So just to make sure they're okay.
Know, yeah, because they're not going to go outside and interact with anybody, you know. We got our own island. Like,
yes, the oxygen is our oxygen. But that's the whole problem with this whole like individualism, this Western rugged individualism that we've been imposed upon us. I know Donnie put up a lot of Amos Wilson videos, who I'm very appreciative you did, because I've read Blueprint for Black Power, and I've learned that African people on the continent, anywhere on the diaspora, Caribbean, we're the most rugged, individualistic, ideological motherfuckers in the world. You know what I'm talking about? We sit up here and here it is, and then think about the language we say. Think about this. dog, I want to get it on my own. You know what I'm saying? I don't need nobody. Then when they refer, this is how we talk about white folks. Man, them white folks ain't gonna let you do that. We didn't say that white person. We say them white folks. So we recognize it's a collective that's doing something, but our response to it is to be the baddest super nigga in the world.
And you gonna get past it.
Yep. And the thing about it is, we let everybody have this laissez-faire. We have no accountability to one another. Yep. Everybody can just do what they want to do. I fall in. You can't criticize me for falling in love with somebody from another race. You can't criticize my heart. Well, let me put it to you like this. I know last time I checked, it's a black woman and a black man. They come together, they can make a black baby. You know what I'm talking about? And I will say this much. When you get involved with the interracial relationships, there's a power dynamic. It's very political, okay? And you're not going to enter into you as an African, if you are someone who has to develop and build a nation, that has not been done. You're trying to lose yourself into this other person's cultural vantage point. Because what are they going to do? You going to get you a white woman to say she going to build for Africa? Or are you going to say, this is my American dream? You see what I'm saying? That's the problem. You don't know yourself. And then you think of yourself as just a color. Yeah, I'm just a color. I'm not no different from them.
We're all humans.
We're all humans. We're all humans. We all have our origins in Greece. We all come from, we all love the Queen of England.
Right.
It's like, damn, it's like replete with this stuff, man. And so you got a people, like Kwame Ture said about SNCC, and when he kicked the white folks out, and the white folks was hurt. The white liberals was hurt. Because he said you cannot have economically insecure people with the economically secure people and expect them to run it, and then and expect things to be developmental for that economically secure people. They're gonna get exploited, and then we don't know ourselves. We literally think Donnie. I know you done heard it up there. Oh shoot, there's some white folks on there. You know they gonna do it right.
Yeah,
that's the first
you
thing
hear
we
that
say.
all the time.
Oh shit. Oh, some white people gonna be. Well, you know them white folks don't play. I'm glad it ain't just some niggas up there. Oh yeah. That's the first thing we say.
You hear that all the time. Yeah, all the time.
And this is real African talk right here. So I know we telling y'all like, oh gosh, I didn't know. Negro, you lying. Stop lying. It's just like people who say, oh yeah, there's no racism. Yeah, right. No, where's all this stuff coming from? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, like that's that Fox News nonsense that it doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
In 2015, you're trying to say where's this stuff coming from? Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
What?
It is ridiculous.
Another big issue I have with the interracial dating and mating in this movement is that if we're trying to make young people feel good about themselves and feel good about being African, how can they honestly believe me if I'm walking in with a white wife? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you that you're beautiful and that you should always think of yourself as being beautiful, but my wife, Katie over here, like that's not gonna work.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I don't think, because a lot of adults look down on not look down, but I guess think that children can't pick up on things, but they pick up on things.
They pick on them.
Exactly.
Pick up on them fast.
So they'll pick up on that, like, yeah, all right, you telling me that I'm supposed to love, man, please, I'm gonna go out there and find me a white woman or white man or something.
Yep. You are exactly right.
It's so true. And then the thing about it is, we got a nation to build. Yeah. And so basically what I mean by that is this goes beyond your personal preference. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely, 100%.
That's that individualism. So even if you found Katie was your best love mate or whatever Katie did for you, I don't know. Katie, I ain't saying Katie, let Katie be your friend. Why you got to move it up to sleep with her? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You can be friends with Katie and not want to let it go to some sexual stuff, but you got to build with a queen. I'm just saying, you got to build with a sister, because that's the nation. And like you said, we're so underdeveloped. I look at sisters, and I'm older now, and I see like how the game is ran on us. As soon as they come out the womb, they're being told right away it's something wrong with their bodies. Yeah. That means they got to change their hair to look more like a woman. So to where I've heard sisters say this, I'm not going to wear no natural hair. I don't look like no fucking dyke. That's what they'll tell you. You know what I'm saying? We think to be us is the most closest to evil in the world. And see, that's the problem. I know in the white liberals, you know what I'm saying? The straight up on the right, you know what I'm saying? They're the most honest. They'll tell you you're from Africa.
Oh, yeah.
They'll tell you you're from Africa, right? But see, you get them white liberals, they'll confuse you. Oh, well, you're not really from Africa. You're like me. And then you get people who are not secure in themselves and don't know their history. They'll fall in love with their line because they think the problem is their color. Mm-hmm. And they think because they can recite Heidegger and Hegel and shit like that, this person sees me as a human. But what's human? European universalism. And see, that's very dangerous. And that's why I say the white liberal is more dangerous because they're dealing with a people that have been colonized by them, and they gonna tell you just like me. Now, for somebody who's been saying you ain't nothing your whole life, that's music to their brainwashed ears.
It sure is. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why it's so dangerous because we don't know ourselves. We can't build with you. It's been so much damage done that it's just autopilot. Just like how they move and act on us. Well, it's about the working class. It's about class. I will say class is a factor, but the class in the African community is different from just being economics in the white nation. Because to move up the class is to be like a black Anglo-Saxon here, and maybe in Martinique is to be like a Frenchman. But the thing is, we need to understand that as a people, and that's why, again, going back to Donnie's videos, that's why it's important we put these up. And we're going to move on to the next question because I'll keep talking. My next question, I'm gonna read from Ayikwe Arma's book. It's called Why Are We So Blessed? There's a part in here he's reading from one of the characters named Moden, and he's talking to this white girl who's trying to sex him up. And her name is Amy. And this is a very good book. Ayikwe Arma, that's all I got to say. But he says, they're having a conversation. She says, you didn't say which country you were from. Were you ashamed? And Moden responds, it's not shame. I just think of all our small states as colonial things. I'm an African. When we think about that statement, we know you are a member of the All African People's Revolutionary Party. And based on, watching your videos from Kwame Ture, who was one of his founders, we understand that one of their primary ideological contributions to black people is that we must still struggle as Africans.
Oh, yeah.
When you think about your work in the party in conjunction with your involvement in many of the political struggles currently happening, around relationships with the police, which is a colonial relationship, what do you think are some of the limitations that you have witnessed that are going on in some of these discussions or struggles because people are not struggling as Africans? And it appears that people are trying to call these struggles not colonial struggles, not struggling because we're in a struggle since we got off the boat in 1619, Jamestown, Virginia. It appears that they're just labeling our problems as stemming from being a marginalized group like white women as opposed to a colonized population. Because one of the things I always hear is this, this woman thing, this universal woman thing. But, there's blacks and women. Well, hell, what about black women? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, goddamn. So you saying women, so you done racialize women, but what the European always do, they universalize it.
Yep. Because
we got some women, right? So what are some of the things you've seen and contradictions? Because then we're not struggling, like Kwame Ture said, in what your party, All African People Revolutionary Party, based on that ideological premise. If you don't struggle as African, you miss the boat. You miss the boat. So.
Yeah, well, what I think is definitely one of the big problems if you're not struggling as an African is that you start getting caught up in other issues, and I'm not saying that they don't matter, but if you're the most dispossessed people on the planet, why should you have to jump and take your attention away from working to liberate your people to go deal with another situation? Like, we're we are under constant pressure all the time. So I can't even think about, and I know that ideologically the party, supports like the Irish because they are under British colonialism. But me, I personally can't really get with that because I feel that we are so caught up and we are so under pressure right now that trying to do anything other than liberate ourselves, liberate our people is a waste of time and it's a distraction. So the reason I get involved in the movement is to try to influence people and to at least have a voice that says, listen, this is what we got to do, and try to organize those who are receptive to it. I don't want to just be the person that's like, oh, well, these people are just marching doesn't do anything. I'm not, all right, if the people are marching, that means they want to do something. So we have to go in and try to, lead it in the direction that it needs to go. And that's what's been happening as I've been going to some of these protests and marches, and people are, ask me who I'm with. I say, All African People's Revolutionary Party, and they're like, whoa, what's that? Okay, so now we're starting to talk about, being African, struggling as African. Once we get that information to them. So that is my biggest problem in this movement, is that even though we are suffering from police brutality, it's like, I understand we gotta fight against police brutality, but we really have to get to the source. We have to get to the source of why the police are doing it anyway, and that's this. But the reason I know, and this is something I learned from Kwame Ture, is, he would say that, many times he would have to work with organizations that he doesn't like, and he has to do it. Sometimes he has to organize when he's tired, and you have to do it. So I work with groups that I don't necessarily agree with what they do, but if there's any way that we can use it to get people organized, then we'll do it. At least because, like Kwame Ture always says, bad organization is better than no organization. So even if it's an organization that might be doing, just focusing on police brutality, I think that we can use that as a way to organize people to work towards the greater struggle, which is liberating African people. So I think that I always try to encourage people that believe in liberating Africa and that believe that liberating Africa is the most important part. I always try to impress upon them, listen, then join it. Just go to the march, go to some of these meetings, go to some of these rallies and give out information, talk to some people and try to get them to understand that this is going on and know that it's beyond just the police. Because like we were talking earlier, once we found out that Africa is this rich place, we were ashamed of it, or some of us didn't even know of it. But once we found out that this is a rich place, we're like, wow. And that's what happens to a lot of people. Like, I was talking to a sister yesterday, and she was just telling me how, like, wow, when she found out how much she's been lied about Africa, like she's like, yo, I want to move to Africa, So, and that's why I think that we need to join some of these people, because people are in the streets, they're struggling, they're joining the struggle, but they're struggling because the tactics that they're using are the only tactics they know. If you only like we go back to Eyes on the Prize, if you see Eyes on the Prize, it's always marching. Mm-hmm. And so if you're a young person, that's the first thing you think about, because you don't really know another way to struggle. You say, all right, we're just gonna go march and have a sit-in. And so I think that I don't like to just say, oh, they just march. Okay, maybe that's the only way they know how to resist. So let's try to give them education and know that there are other ways to struggle, to resist,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that same thing, that a lot of people just follow that same model because that's the model they tell us is acceptable.
Yeah.
So, we see the limitations, but you can't really criticize them to the point where you say they ain't nothing, because that's all they know. That's the only construction that they have. So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, what I want to add to that is a couple of things, but the first being that's why, it's good to have brothers like you who recognize this and can do this, but also people who might be in different parts of the country or parts of the world, and it might not, can go to marches or whatever and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna be honest with you and say it for the record on there. Yo, I ain't getting arrested. Yo, I ain't, I ain't going to jail. Y'all gonna take me to jail? That's all. I ain't gotta say nothing. I ain't going to jail. I'm just saying. But I'm saying, but my point is this: no, we need people like Donnie, but we all Donnie's like multitask. He can sit up there and then make a mix on some music and shit, and then render videos. I'm still trying to learn to do that. But if you can go out there, that is what's needed. But we need all different. I want people to know, if you can't do it like Donnie, we still got work for you. We got that work, baby.
Oh, yeah.
We got that work.
There's something for everybody. There's something for everybody. Like, you can't be in such a dire situation and then not think that there's something for you to do. There's something for everybody to do. If you've seen, I don't know if you've seen some of the videos from Sarah Sunseti that I had posted on there.
Yes, that's how we found out about it. We actually, we were doing an interview with Cyclonius out of the UK, a hip hop artist out of the UK. What's up, my brother? That's my boy. And he mentioned he was watching it. I was like, I had never heard this name before. But of course, all we did was go to Donnie Mossberg. And I was like, yo, I ain't never seen, who in the hell is this dude? Right?
Because I first saw him, I was like, this brother is off the chain.
He's off the chain. and the thing about Seti, you know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people talking about, the curse words and the stuff he use. But you know what? It's one of the things, the thing about it is, if you're not angry about the conditions that we've been put in, then you must be a dead motherfucker or something. Because, and then look at what happened to us. Look at how they do us. Look at how they do us. And if you wanted a more elegant speaking and talking, maybe you should have treated us or given us back our land and gave us some reparations. But this is what you got to get. There's a song by Black the Ripper. It's called Fire Is Coming, right? The fire has came, damn it.
Children of the dawning, burning, fire is coming. Children of the dawning, burning, fire is coming.
Yeah, born and bred in this city. That's right. Made pea and duck feds in this city. That's right. I was raised wrong, my mind state was shitty. Everything they taught me in school was lies. Teachers tried diss me. Told me about Henry VIII but not my history. I'm a product of slavery. They can hate me but it's their fault, they made me. If it weren't for them, I'd be in the sun, eating mango, speaking native tongue. But instead we're in London selling drugs, where police harass us but really they're the thugs. We're just trying to bring some money home for mum, living below the poverty line. Job seekers ain't enough trust. The system's damaged, my mind state's malice. Fuck the long thing, let's all go to Buckingham Palace. I was innocent at birth, but they created a savage. I smoke weed cause I love it, not cause it's a habit. Fuck what you think. Blindfolds off, I ain't working no jobs, I ain't paying no taxes or worshipping their gods. I'm anti-system and anti-religion, it's all bullshit. Don't hate me, soak up the wisdom. These other rappers don't teach you shit when they're spitting. Straight puppets, standing there smiling, looking smitten, just happy to be there. Stupid ass niggas looking like slaves. I changed the game without you niggas. Jesus wasn't white, in fact his name was Jesus. Why the fuck do we believe all these lies that they teach us? They say Africa's a third world country but they don't tell us why. The British went there and committed genocide. They went Australia, America, more genocide. South America and India, mass genocide. Can't forget the Caribbean, cause that's where I'm from. We were slaves, they even erased our native tongue. You can't blame me for my mentality. Religion is division, it's lacking spirituality. Don't be mad at me for expressing how I feel. I'm just a human being, keeping it real. I don't wanna deal. Fuck you major record labels. You couldn't owe me if you offered 6 figures. I ain't no house nigga.
That's what it is. And when you see Sadie, you see the fires coming. It's been, I don't know how long, and you want to open up a dialogue. Well, goddamn it, they the ones doing it. That's the thing. I get tired of these Negroes talking about we gonna dialogue with white folks.
Yes.
Like white folks think this shit just came up yesterday. They know how they got here.
That's the worst. I hate that.
They know this land didn't belong to them. They know the importance of land, and then we gonna dialogue about this. And how they gonna sit up there and say they gonna free somebody, and when they sitting on occupied Turtle Island, that is the most disingenuous shit. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, you put that SETI up, I was like, whoa.
What were you gonna say about SETI?
My bad.
Oh no, I'm just saying to the point that we got something to do. I remember in one of his lectures, in one of I think it was the Armageddon. When niggas strike back, that's what it was called. I think it was in that one. He said, listen, I don't care if I got one arm, just put me in the back of the truck, give me a gun, I'll shoot.
I
could just sit back there and shoot. Like that's what I'm saying. There's a job for everybody. I don't want to hear that you ain't got no arms. Well, you find something for you to do with your feet, or with your head. You find something to do.
Yeah, you can talk.
Like we gonna find something for you to do. There's too much stuff to get done for you to say, well, I don't know what I can do. Like, we got jobs for you. Yeah. We got a lot of jobs.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things, we think that white folks is the only one that can organize our labor. Just because you unemployed don't mean you can't work. You see what I'm saying? Take that in, listening audience. Just because you unemployed don't mean you can't work.
That's what Dale Jones said.
Yeah, and so the whole point is we got to organize our own labor, and it's just like, but it's good you going out there to the stuff like that because one of the things is like I said, they trying to do the marginalized thing, and some of the things I've been looking at sitting at this here Black Lives Matter. It's like. At the left forum, what's that girl's name? Well, I forgot. I don't know her name.
I don't even remember her name. She was the co-creator of the slogan.
It's a slogan. Paulo Freire warned us about sloganeering and pedagogy of the oppressed. Now, you look at their bio of this girl, it looked like she just like trying to run for executive grant position at some university. And then like one of the things said is like, she's trying to show that black queer people in the black civil rights movement. Well, goddamn it, the white folks didn't care if you was getting booty or not getting booty. Whatever you was doing, they was kicking niggas' ass.
And they still are.
So I don't understand. That's a rhetorical question. I'm being ironic, right? I don't understand irony. Why all of a sudden the African struggle has to be linked to this politically powerful homosexual movement. And here's the thing: we was talking about struggling for Africans, right? Here's my point I'm making is this. I ain't for hurting none of the brothers and sisters, because this society make people do bad things. But here's the thing. We got Africans that look like me, you, Donnie, Zari, will look you straight in the eye and say, oh, I'm not African. Oh, I'm not African. But then they'll look you straight in the eye after that and say, it'll be a man and say, but I really feel like a woman. It'll be like, well, goddamn. Now, I'm supposed to listen to this fool tell me he used the same sporting waves as me, the same grease, same wave cap. he gonna tell me unequivocally that he ain't no African. But then he gonna tell me he got the struggle and all this and say he feel like they a woman or whatever the ABC, LBG thing going down, whatever they say. And my point I'm making is this. We need to come back home to the cultural roots of Mother Africa. And basically what I'm saying is this. We got people in these movements that getting caught up in other agendas.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. And when just talking about the gay struggle, like they really got these Africans really thinking that they really have to struggle more for their sexuality instead of their people, their nationality, or whatever you want to call it.
That's right. No, it's the nationality. That's right.
Like because, and I try to have these discussions, but in this thing, man, it gets crazy. But how can one struggle for something that you're not even being attacked for being gay person?
Exactly.
Like a lot of people are not being the cops are not shooting cats down in the street because of their sexual identity, man. And so no matter what happens, you can get your whole gay liberation and everything and be good on that front, but you still gonna get shot by the cops.
Yep.
So really you need to fight on the front, on the most imperative issue is the fact that you're an African and the system hates Africans.
That's what they want to get away from.
If you want to save yourself, forget it. Let's say you're individual. You're one of those individualistic people. If you want to save yourself, you need to struggle for African liberation because if that's how you're gonna save yourself.
Yep.
Because the cops are gonna come get you. If it's not the cops, it's the racist person in human resources that won't hire you, or is always something somewhere. They're not, and the whole thing about even the gay struggle is that, like Malcolm used to say about the Jews in Harlem, like they can hide their Jewish identity, and the gay people can hide their sexual orientation, but you can't hide your Africanness. You can't hide that. Like you can't. There's no way to hide. So that's what makes it even more important to fight on that front, because you can't hide. That's something that you can't hide. If somebody's coming to get you because you gay, you can act like you're straight and they might leave you alone or something. But you can't just say, all right, well, I'm just gonna be a chameleon and turn white and they're gonna leave me alone. You can't do it. So you have to. This has to be the most important struggle. Then maybe after we get African liberation, then we'll deal with that. But this has to be the first thing.
Yeah, because you got to ask yourself whenever you struggle, whenever you do something, just like when we put together this web magazine, we have like some goals where we want to go. You always got to be thinking about 10 steps ahead. And you say, well, where do you struggling for gay folks? Where does that get you?
Yeah.
As an African. Now, I'm going to tell you what it gets you. Let me tell you, J. Edgar Hoover was gay. He didn't like your black ass.
No.
And now you gonna start to feel sorry for everybody else. They coming here, weaseling in, and co-opt again. Like Kwame Ture said, you got a politically and economically secure sector called the gay movement, trying to infiltrate and penetrate, pun intended. Pun intended. The African movement. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying. And I heard some of the speeches, and it was like, it was gay bodies and queer bodies in the street fighting for Michael Brown. No, it was Africans in the street fighting them pigs.
Regardless of what they do.
And I found that to be utterly reprehensible.
Yeah, it is.
Because we get shot down. Oscar Grant got shot. They wasn't because he was gay. He shot that boy. They shot him with his hands behind his back. And now y'all trying to weasel in what you did.
Yep.
Because Marxism is over with. Because Marxism is over. Because the Soviet Union proved that they can't share. That's what it was. They can't share. Yep. And then now y'all trying, and guess what? All the gay people are trying to do is trying to open up the settler colonial field, so more previously excluded groups within the settler colonial nation that were excluded. Now that the empire's falling down, they saying we got room for you too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now they saying we got room for white people.
Yep.
And we got room for nigga lapdogs that want to be the president.
Yep.
That's all it is. And we need to be politically savvy
Those people don't care about being African though. They don't, you know what I mean? They're self-hating, so they're trying to find something else to struggle around because they believe the lies that white people tell. And so they really believe they're inferior. They really believe we have a problem. So, okay, blackness is too hard. I don't want nothing to do with it. Let me deal. These gay people have power. Let me go over there. So everybody want to be on what they think is the winning side. You know what I mean? So half of these people, if that's what they want to make primary, then they're dangerous for us anyway. And they can stay over there.
Zari spitting hot fire.
I'm just saying.
No, but you're right. That's like, and that's a problem because we keep letting all these other people tap into our energy. Like we have this energy because we're attacked on all fronts, and we have this energy, and all these other movements are trying to jump on our bandwagon to use our energy to get to where they're going to get to, and then once they get there, they're going to leave us.
Yes,
and we're going to be right back at square one.
That's what Maria Bonnie was talking about.
History is proven it to be true.
Yep.
History, and they use these people who are black epidermally with the skin.
Yes.
And they come in there and they disrupt like that. I remember Donnie was talking earlier last week when we saw that, we was talking about, we had seen that Dr. Umar Johnson video when that girl tried to get him to say like, you got to be like homosexuality. Now look here, I ain't no homosexual. Why? That's it's imperial. You should see the political agenda. They using our own people against us and then trying to say like homosexuality is the new black. I've heard that shit.
Yeah, no, I've heard that
shit. And I'm like, what the
how can that be the new black? Like, listen, man, we all know that there's been gay people that have been attacked just for being gay. And the craziest thing is that they're usually attacked by white folks anyway. Every time I've seen it on the news here in New York, it's always been white people that jump other gay white people. So that's that. I don't know that why. So what? So that's y'all. Y'all gotta figure that out.
Yeah.
So like, but we can't keep letting all these people jump in and then jump out when they don't have the and just this whole thing makes me think about like John Brown. Like even though John Brown, he might have organized and did that, but the Osborne Anderson, he told it, and maybe he didn't say it in a way that it seemed too negative because I guess he looked at John as one of his good friends, but. His analysis of the failure of the raid at Harper's Ferry was because John Brown, even though he was just as he, this is what Osborne was saying, like just as he's as much against slavery as even the Africans, but those white hostages that they took, Osborne says that his his empathy for them and for their families not wanting to hurt them or anything is what did them in. And so it's almost like you can't expect them to go as far as you need to go because they're not going to be able to do it. It's going to be hard. Like just John Brown, he's looking at all these white people that, they look like him and they look like what he would say, they look like good people. But I mean, if we're fighting against slavery, man, I ain't got no time to be worried about, I don't want their family to get hurt. Listen, man, we trying to get out of this. So if we gotta kill them, we gotta do it.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It's like he sees himself in them. You know what I'm saying? And that's a contradiction. Again, that's what we was talking about interracial dating, because it's a contradiction. We are insecure in everything, and we have to build something anew, and you have to be serious. You know what I'm saying? You gotta investigate your preferences too. Why do you like a certain thing? You know what I'm saying? And we have to stop being so politically naive in the sense that like think everything is based on morals. Oh, well, let's have the moral. We have the moral high ground. I don't give a fuck. They got Africa.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Fuck
they
morals.
sure do. Tearing it apart.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that. I love that you said that. That's it right there.
Okay, this is it for the C101 podcast for this episode. And if you want to finish listening to this interview in its entirety, all you have to do is go to our site at conscientization101.com or c101magazine.com and subscribe today. You will have access not only to this particular interview, but to all of C101's interviews and much more if you subscribe. So, go to our subscription benefits page for full details. And remember, most importantly, you will be supporting 100% independent media. This episode has featured music from Donnie Mossberg, and the track was called Tragedy. And if you want to find out more information about Donnie, you can find him on YouTube and just search Donnie Mossberg. You can also find him on Instagram with his handle being at Donnie Mossberg. His Twitter handle is at Donnie Mossberg, and his Facebook would be /Donnie Mossberg. So he's easy to find. He's easy to find. You can also find him on SoundCloud, where he has some more of his music at Machine Gun Funk. That would be the search term that you would use. We also featured music from Black the Ripper's Outlaw Volume 2. The track was Fire Is Coming. And don't forget to check us out on Twitter at Conscien1. That's CONSCIEN1. That's the number 1. On Facebook at /conscientization101 and Instagram at C101 Editors. We would like to thank Donnie for sitting and chatting it up with us. And just a reminder, part 2 is coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. And that's it for this episode. Peace.